All right. And so again, before we go ahead and actually kick off our conversation, again, just wanted to, you all are doing an awesome job already following these norms. But again, make sure that you all are in a quiet area so that if you all do come off mute, if you have questions that you want to ask, make sure that you're in a quiet area so that you all can be able to hear. Make sure you mute your mic, stay muted like you all are doing now. We don't want anything to interrupt or interfere with our conversation. If you all do want to speak towards the end, we have question and answers. Please make sure that you are trying to be clear and concise with what you want to say. And then also throughout the conversation that we have, if there are questions that you all have for our guest speaker, please be sure to write them in the chat and we will be able to respond to them. Also, just want to give shout out to a lot of you all submitted questions when you registered to attend. And so thank you all for submitting those questions, because again, a lot of those questions we're actually going to be asking our guest speaker this evening. And so we are ready. I'm actually going to stop sharing the screen so that I can be center with our guest speaker. Let me pin myself. And I'm also going to pin, pin our guest speaker. And so, Mr. McDavid, if you would let individuals in from here on out, let them into the space, I would appreciate that. And Mario, you can go ahead and we ready to rock and roll. And so I'm going to introduce our guest speaker for this evening. Again, we are recording this because again, we have a larger audience that we also want to make sure that we can share this with, to share this insight. And so I'm not even going to do a big introduction because the first question I was really going to ask was really for you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself. And so I'm going to turn it over to you. Again, this is going to be, for those of you that are watching, this is going to be really like a conversation. I do have some questions that I'll be asking our guest speaker. But again, as I said, if you all have questions you all want to ask, make sure that you place them in the chat, and then we will make sure that we bring those questions into the space as well. And so, Mara, I'm gonna turn it over to you. Go ahead and just introduce yourself to the folks that's in the space.
Hey, how y'all doing? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Perfect. My name is Demario, Comedian Poundcake Hollowell. I am a local internet sensation comedian. I've been doing comedy, I want to say, for about 10 plus years. I enjoy what I do. I love making people laugh on a day-to-day basis. And I'm just your all-around fun guy.
That's what's up. So, you know, a lot of the questions that came through from a lot of the gents, they were just like, we want to know, where'd you get the name Pound Cake from? That was like the first question that everyone asked, like, why Pound Cake? Where'd it come from? So if you let us know what's the origin of it?
Good question. Okay, so I got the name Pound Cake. I'm gonna tell you, I was so ashamed to tell anybody this story, but when I was young, I used to, every time, you know how grandmas be cooking cakes and pies for Christmas, and they cook them like 2 days before Christmas, so they can go and get the cakes and pies out the way, and then they get to the, you know, the dressing and the ham and all that. So I couldn't wait till Christmas. So I'll go, and my grandma, she does my favorite cake, pound cake. I'll go and I cut a slice of cake, I'll hunk that up, and I replace it with like a slice of cornbread in the cake, and then I'll put a little icing over it. And they always used to be like, they used to call me Pound Cake. So when I get older, and the man asked me, Rob Love, he's a comedian. I didn't have no comedian name. He said, hey, brother, you want to do stand-up? I said, yeah. He said, what's your name? I said, Pound Cake. Everybody started laughing. So from there on out, I just made my name Pound Cake. I love Pound Cake. All kind of flavors, all the flavors.
All the flavors. You was really taking cornbread and putting some icing on the cornbread and replacing it. Listen.
Yep. And you know the old people didn't make the Jiffy mix, so they had the buttermilk cornbread that tastes like just pure raw bread. And I had and then you know, because it looked lumpy and stuff. But my grown case, it was kind of dry anyway, so it ain't made no difference. And then you know that slice that it was just one piece of slice of cornbread that I had to replace it with. I love Pound Cake. I'm addicted to it.
Lord Jesus. All right. So there y'all heard it first. This is where we got the name Pound Cake from in this
Yeah.
space. And so ultimately, another question the Lala Gents had was ultimately like, what made you want to become a comedian? Like, was there something that happened in your life that's like, you know what? I think there's something I could do. Like, what sparked that interest in the first place?
I've been funny, y'all. Like I've been a class clown all my life since third grade on up to now. Just the same person. I love making kids laugh. I love making the teacher laugh in school. I used to get put out in the hallway and time out just because all I wanted to do was just make people laugh, and I couldn't cut it off. So I knew when I got older that I had to be a comedian because it's my passion, and I love to make people laugh, make them feel in a happy space. And that's just something that I love to do. And so I had to just become a comedian. And I didn't even want to be a comedian because it's something just within me just to be silly. But as I, got around the comedy crowd and the comedy peers and everything, and I started doing stand-up, and I said, this is where I belong. That's my passion. I'm a comedian. So yeah, it started early on.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I know during the pandemic, that's when, everybody was at the house. Everybody was trying to find ways
Yeah.
to stay motivated, stay uplifted. And I know
Yeah.
that's when a lot of the attention started coming your way. So just tell us a little bit about that. How did that come about where you really became this like viral sensation? I know whenever you go on live, I have to tune on in. And so I'm sure a lot of our parents of the boys that's in the space have done the same thing. So how did that come about? What was the thought process behind that? And just explain that to us.
It just happened. It just happened. It was a lot going on with the Shelby County schools and a lot of the corona things, like the outbreaks and everything. And, everybody was just in a frenzy. And so I had to step in and I had to say and speak my mind. And this before I had came with the whole series of Step Into the Live, We Are Tired and everything. And, I just gave my peace of mind and everything about how I feel about the school system and the parents and, want to make it any better. So, I came in, talk my stuff. And all I know, I just cut the phone off and I saw 486 shares, 500 shares. I'm like, what's going on here? You know what I'm saying? What is really going on? So I had to keep the momentum going and I had to keep stepping into the live and let people know that we are tired and it stops today. And that's how it came about. We are tired. So every time I step into the live, I have to tell the people, because I call myself the prophet of comedy. So if I'm the prophet, I have to instill what God put on my heart to get the message out to the people, but put a comedy spin on it. And that's pretty much what I had. That's how I got started with the Step Into the Live.
I love it. And I think during that time frame was just a perfect time to even do that type of work, because we were all trying to figure out what's going on with this pandemic, what's going on with schools, are we closing schools, what's happening. And so I feel like you said, that was such a dark time for a lot of folks with the COVID. And now like you were trying to bring some of that humor to it. And so it was a good time, a good opportunity for you to be able to spread the gospel, as you say.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I know you mentioned a few minutes ago that you would get in trouble in school a lot because you were the class clown. And so like how was, I'm not gonna say Pound, how was Demario in school? Like what was Demario in school? Did you have struggles in school? What was that like?
Yeah, I used to get teased a lot, because I was a heaven-set kid, so everybody used to tease me and check me. So I was so shy, I didn't want to talk or anything. So just one day I just bust out and started checking, and I didn't know what was going on. It was in me. So I checked this one boy, he just kept on teasing me and everything. So I just checked him and the whole class just was like real quiet. They was like, and then they just bust out laughing. So since then, you have to check your way. If you're a product of Shelby County School, Memphis City School, you have to check. You have to check your way through school. And I had to check my way. I had to fight hard. I had to fight really hard. But I checked my way through school. And that's how I started.
And so that's how you overcame it. So did you have like did any teachers like try to intervene? Like what was that like? What was like, did you have somebody you could go to at school, or was it just like you felt like you had to defend yourself?
Well, the thing is that I have the gift to make teachers laugh as well. So, and the teachers know that I was in the right. And when you see somebody bullying me, and then I have to, instead of fighting and trying to fight it out, I used to check them. And then sometimes I used to make the bully cry. So then the teacher tell me, Demario, you wrong for that. But then the teacher still pulled me to the side and still laugh at what I said. That's how I fought, by making people laugh. Yeah. So my go-to people were, I want to say Miss Shonda Wilson and Miss Tara Turner and Miss and Miss Meeks, Miss Cherie Jones Meeks from Raleigh Egypt. That was my to-go people. And I'm telling you, every time they talked to me, they told me, because I used to feel so bad about checking and making people laugh, because I was like, don't nobody take me serious. I'm just a jokester. And they were saying, Demario, that's your personality, and people are going to see the realness within what you have to offer in your gift. And they always just gave me motivation just to be the best that I can be. So that's why I always preach and say that it's always good to instill in a child's mind and tell them that they're great in whatever they do, whether they want to be a singer, rapper, dancer, whatever they want to do. Just always tell them, you got it. Go for the greatest, and with this one being you. And that's why I always say just catch them while they're young, because a lot of our youth need to know that whatever they're passionate about, like everybody's not going to be a doctor, everybody's not going to be a lawyer, everybody's not going to be, what we aspire to be in a professional world. But it's okay if you want to be a rapper, singer, or artist or whatnot. Just whatever you do, just make it, the best at what you do, and learn how to actually grow. And just it's still so much seed in our youth. And that's what we as adults have to do, is instill so much seed in our youth, because our youth is the future.
I love that. I love that. And you just kind of tapped into like some of these, like the typical jobs that we hear about, that we tell our kids, these doctors, these lawyers. But interesting enough, like that's why I was so excited to kind of bring you on and kind of talk to them about, like, there are so many students who I know as a former principal who thought they were the class clown and would always have jokes and want to do XYZ, and like really trying to expose them to, like, you can make a career out of this. Like you can do so much more to that. Like, how do you taking that laughter, taking that ability to make people laugh, to actually putting this into a career. So I'm appreciative of being here. What would you say also, like, with just within the field, or just within comedy, what are some other, besides, let's say some of our gents are like, maybe they think they're a funny person, they could want to go into being stand-up comedy, but what are some other things that you think some of the gents could possibly do in the field of comedy?
Yeah, I would just say, if you think you're funny, I would just say, stay real to yourself. If you keep everything real life situations and just put a comedy spin on it and just tell it how you reacted to the situation, then I promise you everything will be smooth sailing. Just stay real to yourself, speak truth, always be respectful. Don't be out there being disrespectful in comedy and think you're gonna be just, you can't be like this. So just always be respectful. Always know that you're doing it because it's a passion. Don't never chase the money. The money's gonna come, whether it's gonna come, whether you like it or not, and you let your talent speak for itself. So if you think you're funny or whatnot, just always be educated about the game, and just live life, have fun with it. It's comedy, and if nobody don't laugh at it, then oh well, that's just not your crowd. Keep going. So I say, if the gents are listening, whatever you like to do, whether you like to dress, you could be a stylist. If you like your hair chopped, you could be a barber. Whatever you like to do, just find that thing that keeps you going and keep you motivated and keep you inspired, and just work hard at it, no matter what.
I love that. And so there's just so many things, like you just mentioned, like ultimately it's like doing something that you're passionate about. And ultimately doing something that's going to get you excited with, and not chasing, you said the right thing, like not chasing the money. The money will come to you, or it'll come to you in different ways. It'll come to you in the way people just show you love, the way that people support you. Like that, in a sense, sometimes is even better than actually getting that actual money. Now we want to get some money now, but that helps supplement that along the way as well. So one of the questions, gents, we ask all of our guests, because they think all of y'all just these amazing like celebrities and have had the opportunity of just like interacting with so many like people. And so has there been anyone like really important or famous in your eyes you've had the opportunity of meeting, interacting with? I really try to get them to understand, like, in different roles, different fields, like you can start from any place. You could be right here from Memphis, Tennessee, and like make your way to rub elbows with so many different types of people. And so has there been a situation where you've had the opportunity of interacting with folks because of this career field that you've chosen?
I have not been blessed with the opportunity to work with the big names in the comedy industry, but since I've been on this comedy journey in Memphis, German Pierre from Post 13, funny guy. Like I started off checking him, didn't know I was checking him or whatnot. And everybody was tagging him in my post saying, "Oh, Poundcake." He checked back. I'm like, he a news reporter. He ain't gonna say nothing back to me. All I know, that man wrote a 3-page paragraph, and it was just going in on me, checking me and everything. And I was like, "Oh my God, is he serious?" So, long story short, over the time frame, me and Jeremy actually met up in person. He actually a cool guy, funny. We go out sometimes, we kick it, we talk stuff and everything. And just working with somebody like that, I never know that he had a personality like that, and it's similar to mine. So just people like that, you'll never know who has that wild, fun, and crazy like vibe about themselves. So I would say most definitely within the city of Memphis. Now it's a lot of great talent like comedy and within the comedy field, but I would have to most definitely like put him in the highlight, because I never thought that he was actually funny until I met him. And like, I'm just eager to see who else, will be fun. I'm just ready to see somebody like a pastor, somebody, a real pastor that's really funny, whatever, or somebody, somebody that's like like a nurse or something that's a comedian. That's within themselves, because everybody got a little comedy in them. Everybody got a little part of comedian in them. So that's pretty much all I get as far as working with someone in the industry.
Yeah, and so actually, Jeremy was one of our guest speakers last year on our guest speaker series, and so
okay.
he too, yes, he is quite entertaining. Me and Jeremy have a really good relationship. He came to shoot a lot of the stories that I was in when I was a principal at Bruce.
Right.
So Jeremy, cool people, and like you said, always has something either slick or funny to say. And so definitely somebody who has the ability to check on the spots.
Right.
Say that. So I know we mentioned a little bit earlier, you talked about some of the teachers that looked out for you while you were in school, but ultimately, like, who were some of the people that like were your role models, whether growing up or even now, like at your current age? Like, who was somebody that you really looked up to that helped you out, or somebody who you aspired to kind of try to be or even be better than?
I would have to say Coach Keith Jefferson. He was my science teacher. Just the way that he talked to his students, like he talked to us as if we were young adults. You get the teachers that's telling you, put your phone up, listen to me, pay attention. Go in the house, you don't want to listen to me, young man, pull your pants up. He was not like that. He talked to us as if we were young adults. And still to this day, I still respect him as if I was still in the 7th grade taking his science class. And that's why I always say, like, once you instill or show that respect and talk to students as if they are young adults and just show them the way, then they will always have that long-term respect for you. And he is actually my Facebook friend. And, Coach Jefferson, I always just looked up to him. I always wanted to just carry a briefcase. I was working at Pizza Hut House and carrying a briefcase. And they're like, you selling pizzas all day, what you got a briefcase for? And I said, well, Coach Jefferson, look professional, I want to do it too. So that's what I do. He just instilled a professionalism within me at a young age. And I said, whatever I'm going to do in life, I just want to come to work with a fresh haircut, a loop earring, and a briefcase. And that's what he had.
Yes. So if you could just think it back to where you are, thinking about going through high school, you graduated from what high school? Because that's the
Raleigh High School,
Raleigh Egypt High. All right, Raleigh Egypt High. So again, like you graduated from Raleigh Egypt High, thinking about like you just talked about going through all these different like jobs that got you to this point. So if you could do it all over again, would you do anything differently, or would you keep, was there a mistake you're like, ooh, I probably would have done this differently, or would you keep things the same?
I would keep everything exactly the same. Exactly. I wouldn't change anything. Now, back then, I wanted to change it or whatnot. But my whole experience in school, making people laugh, winning talent shows with comedy songs and everything, like that whole fun experience. I always wanted to be like the top of the class or the valedictorian and everything. But I mean, it wasn't fun for me. So if I can go back, I wouldn't change anything. I'll probably tell myself just to stop talking too much, but I won't be put in study hall all the time. But other than that, I wouldn't change nothing. I wouldn't change anything at all. Because the valedictorian work at McDonald's on 3rd Street. So, so it ain't always peaches and cream on the other side. So
not at the McDonald's.
The McDonald's on 3rd Street. I'm telling you, that stuff is students. That's why I be telling students and stuff. The people that you see that's actually like the students of business of American audit, just let them do them, because they're not gonna always be those good kids or whatever. Life hits you, life gonna come at your face. And that's why we got to teach our youth how to take life once they get older. So they know what the decisions to make. You know, everybody ain't meant for college. Everybody ain't meant to go to a trade school or whatnot. So everybody ain't meant to be an entrepreneur. So we have to teach them, like, you know, what's good for you. You are good in the books or whatever. Let's go to college. Let's do this, and just always, you know, figure out a curricular pattern for them in order for them to actually excel in life. So I wouldn't change anything. School and how I was made me who the person I am today, and everybody's not going to have the same path in life. So that's all I say. You know, whatever you do, just make it work for you, and love it, and love what you do.
I love it. So just looking back over your career, what would you define as a pivotal moment for your success?
Pivotal moment for my success, I would have to say, if you stay true to your passion, it ain't no telling where you'll lead to. Like, I've been doing comedy forever. I started off with, like, I've been a viral comedian for, I want to say, 13 plus years. So, you know, it's just there, like, viral comedian. And I started off doing skits and everything, but I have never got so much feedback and love when it comes to me stepping into the live. And the people love truth. And the pivotal moment, it was when I, you know, everybody was outside. We outside, y'all. We outside. And I had my comedy show at Chuckles, and I sold out 4 shows within 2 days. Sold out 4 shows. And I'm telling you, like, that was the moment I said, okay, I'm doing something here, you know, and I just sit right here in my kitchen, you know what I'm saying, with my cell phone. Then I'm paying a bridge payment on every month. And it's just crazy how the word and the comedy just spread overall Memphis and outside surrounding areas. And you know, that was right there was the highlight of my career, of being an internet sensation. Just talking the truth, telling people how you feel, putting a comedy spin on it, not being disrespectful. And people just seek truth. People just know that I speak truth, and I bring and when I hear testimonies, you know, some ladies come up to me and say, you know, I take chemo or I go to dialysis and I be so drained, but just listening to you and your comedy makes me feel so much good. And when I hear testimonies like that, I have to be doing something right. Yeah. So that's what keep me going. That's what keep me motivated and just keep going, you know, because with testimonies like that, because without people telling me that, I don't know where I would be. So I'm very grateful of the gift that I have, and I'm very grateful of the people who embrace what I say. So that was the most pivotal moment when the pandemic happened, and I could actually like broadcast and showcase my talent, and, you know, within Chuckles and within being a viral sensation, internet sensation.
I love that. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one of the questions I love. Like, actually, one of our students actually wrote it. So the question was, because of the way Memphis has embraced you as a native and local comedian across all social media platforms, what honest advice would you give your 13-year-old self now?
Oh, my 13-year-old self now. Let me see, 13-year-old self. I would tell my 13-year-old self to work hard in what you're doing. Like in school, I used to write a song. I'm telling you, I used to write a song every morning. And I'll change it into like a food song or some kind of like a situation song. Like we got in trouble yesterday throwing paper in class. I remix a song, the hardest song out, and I remix it. I come to school every day and I make songs or whatever. And the kids just look forward to it. Like I used to have a Poundcake mix album. And so I would tell my 13-year-old self to stay true to your talent and keep working hard. And I used to be like very insecure. I didn't want to talk to nobody, but the only time I talk is when I made them laugh. But I would just tell my 13-year-old self to just go out and be more open to everybody and just show them that you have a gift and you're not only a jokester, but you're actually very well educated. You're very knowledgeable about different things, and I would just tell myself just to open up and branch out more, because I was just stuck in one place. I was always funny and whatnot, but I didn't know how to communicate with certain people, and used to withhold myself from so many things. So I would just tell my 13-year-old self just to live just a little bit more.
I love that. I love that. And you mentioned something that sparked another question I want to ask. I know very similar to even the things that you described. Like I you know, when there's a difficult situation, I typically will use humor as the way of like, you know, breaking the ice. You know, that's
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
it just makes things less awkward. And
Mhm.
so I guess that was always a struggle that I had, even on my own journey, as I have tried to, you know, become a principal and all that. You know,
Right.
people would always say they would never take me serious, as you mentioned. Like they'll always think that, oh, you all about the jokes and the games. So how did you get over that? Like, how did you overcome like people's perception that, oh, I can never be taken serious, everything's always a joke? What did you do to yourself to like help you overcome that?
Well, the thing is, people, and it's still to this day, they think I'm just a big jokester. Like they can't take me serious. But I have to show them better than I can tell them. You know, I always say, you know, I can do this, or look at me, or give me an opportunity. But they're still gonna always look at me as, he's just a comedian dude. You know, you can't take him serious. So sometimes you have to actually take that leap and just do it. You know, just show them. You know, you can talk all day and say, hey, look at me. But if you show them, then they can say, okay, it's more to him being a comedian. He has this or he has that. So you always have to prove people wrong. You have to prove them wrong. And you have to show your best ability and put your best foot forward. And that's what I have done, you know, even with the world that I work in banking. And so, you know, when people see me or hear me over the phone, they say, okay, this Comedian Poundcake. No, this Demario, you know, and so they waiting for me to tell a joke or whatnot. But when I actually take her their needs and get the service products and tell them how they could be beneficial and everything, and when I tell them all about the great assets about benefiting their finance needs and financial life and freedom, then they say, okay, you know, you're not just a comedian. And it's more to, that's why I always say, just don't stick in that one space in your life. Just, you know, show all of your abilities and just let people know exactly what you have to offer. And that just goes with all the things that you do offer. You know, we're just not just a comedian or just a professional, or just an entrepreneur. We got a lot of things that's instilled in us, but we have to just show people better than we could tell them.
I love that. I love that. And the last question I had, and then we're gonna open up if you all have any questions.
Okay.
Is like, so what goes into, let's say like I know you do the step into the live and you like, you know, what's your thought process to prepare for that? Or even going back to thinking you're preparing for Chuckles, your Chuckles shows, you know, sold out 4 shows. Like
Yeah.
what was that preparation like for you? Because I think I did really want to make sure that the just understand, like, it ain't just a matter of you stand up in front of folks and like, oh, I'm going to stand in front of these people for hours at a time and make them laugh. Like, what does that prep work look like for you?
The thing is that the thing about me is that I'm afraid of myself because I don't even think before I speak. You know what I'm saying? So I'm afraid of myself. So I'd be like, you know, it's a lot going on. And then, you know, sometimes I actually pray. I actually pray to God and tell him to instill all the things that he wants me to talk about and put it in a comical way. And then, you know, when I do the step into the live, I just think of a topic. I'll be like, they selling food stamps. Let's talk about it. You know, or they doing this, or they running these fin fans. Let's talk about it. So I step into the live and I talk about it and I tell people we are tired and it stops today. And I take scenarios and situations, which is real life based, you know, based on a true story. And I tell people, and everybody can relate to it because they see it every day. And that's why so many people can laugh at it and say, oh my God, funny, but true. And that's pretty much what it is. It has to be true. It has to make sense in order for people to find some kind of humor in it. And that's how I get prepared. I have to talk about real life stuff, especially in Memphis. Memphis is a funny city. Everything is going on funny. The church, the hospitals, everything in Memphis is, we can make a joke out of anything. So that's how I prepare for it. You know, I'm ignorant and I had to talk about it and let people know the ignorancy and everything. I don't even think that's a word, but
the ignorancy.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. So if you have like Jaden, I see your questions you don't put in the chat, but I don't know how you want Poundcake to help you answer that question. Because he asking how did he become a football player? And
I was a football player in school.
Okay, so he was a football player. So that's what I guess he's saying. How can he become one? Like, what advice you got for him? He's trying to be a football player.
Everybody gonna make it. That's first of all. Everybody gonna make the team. All you gotta do is sign up. The thing is, they wanted me because I was big and everything. They was like, "Oh, you big, you can also be down." But what people don't know is that I'm really soft. I'm really soft. So just because I'm big, but I would just say, if you want to be a football player, you be that football player. You get out there and you just work your hardest at this stuff. You don't have to be the best football player. You don't have to be the greatest, but you get out there and you understand your assignment and you play the game and you do it. So just, and always keep your grades up and stuff. You don't want to be a football player and want to make it to the league, and then if you hurt yourself, then where you gonna work it? You know what I'm saying? What education you gonna have to fall back on? So always put education first. It's just a top priority in school. Please put education first. But if you want to be a football player, I was a football player. I was in the choir. I was in the band. I did it all. And I always just remain in my books and always remain within myself in comedy. Comedy was in everything I did, as far as like football, choir, and everything. And I would just say, if you want to go for it, go for it. Ain't nobody stopping you. Don't let nobody tell you that you're not good enough. Go out there. If you don't make the team, which I'm quite sure y'all will make the team, you will make the team. But if you don't make the team, try it again. Find something else to do in the meantime until you actually make the football team. Because you're going to make the football team. I'm going to tell you why. Because you got to instill that faith in yourself. Pray about it, put it in God's hands, go on out forward. And if you don't make it, life happens, and try again. Never give up. Never give up. But you're the best. You're the best if you tell yourself, if you believe yourself that you are the best, then you are the best. Don't let nobody else put that on jacket on your back that you're not the best. You can only determine that.
I love that. And Colin, you got your hand raised. That means you want to come off mute and ask your question?
Come on, Colin.
I believe. I see you got your camera on now.
I just wanted to ask you if he got away with putting the cornbread in the pound cake.
You know what? The cake was so dry that the cake was so dry that she didn't even realize it. She didn't realize it at all. So I used to always get away with, but I think one time she almost caught on to me. Because I didn't have enough icing to put over the cornbread slice, what I replaced the cornbread with. So she was like, so I told her that it was the rats in the kitchen, because we had mice and rats in our house when we was growing up, and I was staying in the projects in North Memphis. And so I told her that the rats was licking on it. So she kind of believed me a little bit, but I almost got caught. But the next Christmas, I was really sneaky. I was a little bit more slicker than I was Christmas before. So yes, I almost got caught, Colin. Almost.
So I'm just gonna also let you know, Colin is one of my former students. Colin is also quite hilarious.
Okay.
Just talking to him, he will make you laugh as well. So you might be having like a modern day Colin going on, because he always found a way to make me laugh. And he says the funniest things as well. So
just start off,
anybody else in the audience, anyone else have questions? You could put them in the chat, or you can come off of mute and share them. If not, I'm gonna ask him one more question and we're going to close on now. Let's see if anybody else got questions. I appreciate it. Yeah, Colin's never afraid to come off from you. You see that everybody.
Colin, keep on with the question. Keep on with the question. Colin said he gonna hear some cake too.
That sounds like something Colin would really do. So just if and I'm gonna see if they put anything in the chat in the meantime, but like last words to off, like we have Jensen here from, all the way from 3rd grade up until, in high school grades. Like, just what advice, we got a bunch of Black boys in this space that we're really trying to work to improve outcomes and make things better for them. And so what advice did you just give them about just navigating life as a Black male and trying to make it in life?
All I can say is that in school is like, I know we got to be, the teachers tell y'all to just, focus and, study and everything. But if you're in school, do not rush to grow up. Just live in that moment. Live in that moment. If you want to go to prom, go to prom. Don't be like, I hate this school. I ain't going to prom. Don't do that. Live in the moment. Go to prom. Go to all of your events, football games. Just go to all of them and live in that moment. Pay for your yearbook. Don't buy the Jordans. Pay for your yearbook, because you want to cherish those memories, and you don't want to be a grown man and can't look back on the memories and everything in school. So just have fun and where you at now. And I promise you, once you just stay focused on your grades and everything, stay focused in your books and have fun, then life will just come at you and you'll know how to actually take one thing at a time. Life is going to be full of challenges. I'm not going to tell you it's going to be easy. When you get out of school, you're going to go to school, you're probably going to go to college, you're going to do good in college. Then you're probably going to have to go to Southwest. because of academic probation, and it's okay. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. I went to Southwest. You know, I made a mistake. I wanted to pledge in Southwest, and they said we don't do that in Southwest. We don't do that. And so I said, oh, I'm sorry. So you know, but you know, life is gonna come at you. You're not gonna always have that, you know, shiny star moment, but it's okay. Just know that you want to go for the greatness within yourself, and you want to climb the ladder, but you're gonna have to stay real and true to yourself. And I say, if like y'all get a great mentor, you know, I'm quite sure you had a lot of kids you mentor and everything. So you know, just him and everything, Mr. Archer, just ask him and everything, and he'll be able to give you the best advice. Or just reach out to me, inbox me, end up in my inbox, or calling me bill collectors. So just reach out to me, ask me any questions. I'd be glad to assist y'all to give y'all some kind of motivation to move forward in life. That's what we're here for. We have to embrace each other. We have to motivate each other to do better in life. And that's what we're here for. We have to always just lean on each other or help build each other up. That's what in our society, in our community.
I appreciate that. Well, on behalf of just like really legitimately, like I appreciate you just taking time to chat with us again. We are gonna be sharing this on Facebook this evening, so please, I'm gonna tag you in and make sure you share this with your folks, because there's a lot of folks who couldn't get on to the space but want to be able to hear what you had to say. I appreciate you. For those of you, the gents that are in the space, again, thank y'all for attending. As I mentioned before, we do this bi-monthly, so our next guest speaker series will be in March. And so again, make sure you follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff, so that you all can stay tuned on what's going on with the Gentlemen's League. So I appreciate you again, Mario, for taking time. And
thank you.
To the gents, y'all have a good evening, and stay tuned for what's coming next from the Gentlemen's League.
All right. Thank y'all for having me. Y'all have a blessed and holiday night.